Well, good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School basketball. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro with Jim Allinder tonight to bring you the East Brunswick South Plainfield boys basketball game. And Jimmy, we were just talking before we went on air, this is a big game for East Brunswick.
It's an excellent game as we're watching the junior varsity, which is having a big year of its own, one of the top clubs in the county in this game. But getting back to the varsity encounter, it's going to be big for a couple of reasons. Primarily, for the for the Greater Middlesex Conference Tournament that's going to be coming up. The seeding committee, this is a Tuesday night, is going to meet tomorrow night, and they're going to decide which team plays which. Now, this is a little jockeying going on right here. Both teams, let's see, East Brunswick's 12-9, South Plainfield is 13-7.
Right.
Depending on who wins this game tonight, there could be a swing of about maybe 4 seeds. If East Brunswick wins this game, they could probably be ranked maybe 8th or 9th and play a club that is 8 or 9. Right. Okay, that's where the matchups would fall. However, if they lose, they could fall to as low as 13th. And that would mean probably opening up against one of the top 4 clubs. And we all know who they are. We've seen them. St. Joseph,
right.
Perth Amboy, Piscataway, and Bishop R. They're tough clubs. East Brunswick has only been able to win 1 game out of playing all those teams. So they want to avoid this at all costs. You don't play to lose, yet there is a lot of incentive about beating South Plainfield tonight.
Jimmy, I think we saw at the St. Joe's game a turning point for this team.
Yes, there was a turning point. They had a little bit of setback last week against Bridgewater, but Bridgewater is just an extraordinarily tough team. They're ranked 10th. I happen to think they're better than that.
Right.
So we're going to just throw that one out, and as Bo Henning, the coach for East Brunswick, said, forget it, guys, because there were some problems in that game. And East Brunswick, by and large, has been on an even keel, which probably wasn't the case at the beginning of this season. There was a lot of ups and downs, and the chemistry just wasn't there. They seem to have developed that now, especially with the big guys underneath. Matt Berliner and Richie Kudza are people that are becoming dependable, and certainly tonight against South Plainfield, they're going to try to create an advantage for themselves because, as we're going to see, South Plainfield has no height whatsoever.
But let's talk about South Plainfield. They're no slouch team. They come in 13-7, and they're a quality ball club.
They're a quality ball club, and they can shoot the ball from the outside. One of the leading scorer for the team is Kareem Stokes, who is averaging 17.2 points per game. That's a fairly nice average. And the 6th leading three-point shooter in the county is Derek Jones, who has 44 three-pointers on the year. He's averaging 14 points a game. So those are 2 significant scorers. As we mentioned, not a lot of height. Kareem Stokes goes 6'1". Jones is only 5'11". Then you have Kashawn Simmons, who's 5'10". Ryan English, 5'11". Daryl Scott is 6 foot. So Bo Henning definitely feels as though they're going to try to take advantage of the fact that South Plainfield doesn't have any height.
And we want to point out again, what you're seeing on your screen is tonight's JV game. That is East Brunswick against South Plainfield. And just for your information, the score is the Bears 49, South Plainfield 27. And we talked a little bit the last couple weeks about feeder systems, and this JV program is certainly one of the strong feeder systems for the varsity club.
Absolutely. The coach, Keith Lane, has been doing a marvelous, marvelous job. And a lot of credit should go to them for just continuing a great program at East Brunswick. But getting back to the varsity, Varnell Johnson will be back in action, and he will play an important role. He provides the quickness that East Brunswick needs. Brett Fisher, of course, is going to be an important player. Brian Tenora. East Brunswick brings in a lot of players, and that's another thing that's been a good strength of theirs, getting people to come off the bench and contribute. Jeff Lebreski is the coach for South Plainfield. He's in his 6th year. He's a 78 graduate of Bishop R, was an all-county performer, and is a good judge of talent. He tells us that he's basically going to go with 7 people tonight. So East Brunswick having more people to go to off the bench, that could be a little bit of a factor. So we're looking forward to a really tough-nosed game where East Brunswick's really going to have to play well to win.
And it's a good matchup coming into the tournament. GMC and State's both coming up. And so this will be a good indication of where East Brunswick's at this point in the season.
Absolutely. One other thing before we get off, East Brunswick got its state playoff team, and they're going to be playing West Windsor at West Windsor, and we don't have a date on that, but that's going to be the opening round of the Central Jersey Group 4.
All right, and we'll talk about East Brunswick's chances both in the GMC and in the state tournament as the game progresses. One thing we want to point out, and we ask that you stay tuned for, is tonight is senior night. It's a tradition that we kind of saw started at football, has been carried over now to basketball, where the seniors, both the team members and the cheerleaders, will be introduced in front of the fans here at East Brunswick with their parents. So we're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with those seniors in just a moment.
I'll expect something in return.
All right, we're getting ready for senior night, and that's when we are asking those in attendance to join us in honoring the senior members of our boys basketball and cheerleading squads, as well as their parents for the outstanding contribution to the respective teams and East Brunswick athletics overall. So they're going to start with the cheerleaders, and the first will be Steve Weissenblum, and his parents are Mr. and Mrs. Larry Weissenblum. Next is Jen Raskus, and Jen will be met by Mrs. Frances Raskus. Carrie O'Brien, Mrs. Cecilia O'Brien. It's the proud mom. And you can see the girls have flowers for their parents. Captain Diana Birnbaum, Mr. and Mrs. Sheldon Birnbaum. And balloons are even part of the celebration here.
Contribution from the parents.
And one of the other young men on the cheerleading squad, Keith Hyatt, and Mr. and Mrs. Sumner Hyatt. And now we'll move over to the senior members of the boys basketball team. First out will be Frank Treska. Mr. and Mrs. Frank Treska are his parents. And he has a flower for mom. Brian Eber is next, Mr. and Mrs. Herb Eber. And the Ebers must be popular here, Jim.
Absolutely.
Brett Fisher will be next, Mr. and Mrs. Philip Fisher. Good close-up of Brett's parents. Jeff Gagnon will cross the court now to meet Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Gagnon. Big smooch for mom and a high five for dad. Varnell Johnson, one of the captains of this year's team, Mr. and Mrs. Varnell Johnson coming out. And lastly, Captain Brian Tenura, Mr. and Mrs. Paul Tenura. Again, one of the traditions that has been established over the last several years at East Brunswick. We saw it started in football and it's been carried over to basketball. And it's a great tradition. And now we'll get ready for the national anthem. And we'll have all the parents turn around and wave to us here on Channel 8. And we wish the seniors much luck in their future, both the rest of this school year and whatever holds for them on the college level, or whatever they do. And we'll be back with the start of the action in just a moment. Well, we welcome you back, and we're about ready to go. East Brunswick and South Plainfield. Jim, starting lineups.
Okay, starting lineups were announced shortly before. For South Plainfield, Kareem Stokes, senior, Derek Jones, another senior, Kashawn Simmons, senior, junior Ryan English, and sophomore Daryl Scott. For East Brunswick, of course, Varnell Johnson, Matt Berliner, Brett Fisher, Rich Kutza, and Brian Tenura. Final home game.
Final home game of the season, and then tournaments begin, GMC and states. And as we said at the opening of this game, this could be a good one.
Absolutely. These teams are quite evenly matched in terms of playing ability. Just in terms of the margin of victory, East Brunswick has a 2-point margin of victory over its opponents, and South Plainfield 1.7. That's close.
That's close. And here we go, and we're going to have a missed jump. He'll do it again. Kutza jumping center for the Bears against Stokes, number 31.
231's jumping.
We're at that point again.
Okay.
And East Brunswick finally will control it. That's Fisher. Quickly to Tenora. Cross court looking for Berliner and throws it away.
Yeah, he was looking for Matt coming in and couldn't connect. Now this Tiger team is won with quickness, John. They can probably outrun East Brunswick in terms of being able to run the fast break, but they're going to be a little selective tonight in their shooting.
Simmons off the rim, and Johnson with the rebound.
East Brunswick, of course, is going to half court a lot.
And a second, oh, lucky that time, off the hands of a South Plainfield player.
Right, that one off the sophomore Scott, number 41.
Tenora to inbound.
That'll be an interesting matchup down below. Scott and Berliner, as we see right there.
Berliner off the glass, won't go. South Plainfield, so East Brunswick only getting one shot. Stokes quickly taking it right to the lane. Short. And is unable to save it.
Almost a nice save. Scott was able to get his own rebound.
So it'll come out on the side.
And
no score.
Full court pressure applied by South Plainfield, as they will tonight as much as possible.
Tenora, no trouble handling the ball. In fact, he has the lane right to the hoop. And it won't fall. Stokes quickly down court. Kutza pick it up. Johnson. Both teams a little cold. Fisher underneath, no foul.
Boy, I thought he was hit on the arm there.
South Plainfield quickly. Simmons, too strong. Kutza saves it. Tenora comes up with it.
It's a 4-on-1.
Tenora himself, and finally we got a score on the board.
East Brunswick fast breaking it.
This is Jones, number 11. English hits. Three-pointer puts South Plainfield on top, 3-2.
Now, he's not one of the primary three-point shooters. As we mentioned, Derek Jones, number 11, on Tenora right there, is the 6th leading three-point shooter in the county.
Fisher breaking underneath. It'll go South Plainfield's way.
Well, officials are letting them get away with a little bit of contact. It was enough contact to cause the ball to go out of bounds, so reason for Fisher's anger.
Both are quick teams, as we pointed out. Scott looks, tries to get it to English, knocked away by Fisher. Hustling Fisher knocks it out of bounds. It'll go back Tiger way, but you got to like the hustle.
Absolutely. Now, strategy for South Plainfield on their side of the ball on the court is going to be to storm the boards as much as possible.
Simmons being guarded by Tenora. A lot of bumping going on. Stokes, three-pointer, short. Back out to Simmons. Jones now, look to set something up. Gives it back to Simmons. English. And Stokes isn't afraid to put it up. Looks underneath, there's Simmons. And uses the glass.
Well, it went in anyway. It would have been called goaltending, I guess. No whistle.
5-2, Tigers on top. First quarter action from East Brunswick. And a kick against South Plainfield. Tenora calling out the play. Johnson by himself, he'll drive to the basket. A little too much, Berliner, yes.
And there's the height advantage the East Brunswick enjoys.
Quickly down court, Jones. Johnson's all over him.
Well, he certainly was not going to let Derek Jones beat him to the punch.
Foul will be on Varnell, his first.
That was speed on speed.
South Plainfield enjoying a 1-point lead with 4:58 left here in the first quarter. Jones is, Jim, you said this guy can shoot.
Yes, he can. He's a good outside shooter. We'll see how he is from the foul line. Jones averaging 14 points a game.
Well, so far so good. This is the second. Fight for the ball underneath. Kutza comes up with it. Quickly to Fisher. Brad will take it. He's fouled underneath. Call's going to be against Simmons.
Right. Well, East Brunswick willing to go strong to the basket. I think indicative of the quality of the South Plainfield club, John, is the fact that they went up against Dunellen, which is 17-3, and beat them at their own court, which by a 54-50 score. This was last week. Dunellen's a Group 1 club, but if you can beat a team like that on the enemy court, I think you're doing a nice job.
Well, they're certainly a quick team, even though they lack the height. Fisher makes the first to bring East Brunswick within one, 6-5. This is the second. Stokes will pull it down and start things off for the Tigers.
East Brunswick just hitting its average, 55% from the free throw line, 1 for 2.
English gets it to Jones. He'll take the shot. Short. Berliner with the rebound. And Tenora will bring it up. Cross court quickly as Fisher. Has no shot. And they're going to call a jump ball.
Yeah, late whistle, but Fisher just definitely had the jumping ball there.
And on the possession, it'll go over to South Plainfield.
All right, we got a substitution, John, I believe. A couple of them.
Coming in for East Brunswick, number 23, that's Jeff Gagno.
And Ramon Franklin, senior, comes in for Daryl Scott.
For South Plainfield. Back to the action. Bears trail by 1, 6-5. Johnson on Jones.
Yeah, this is a nice matchup. Johnson really coming along well defensively.
That's Franklin with the ball. He just came into the game, gives it to English. And a foul's going to be called underneath against Johnson.
Another one.
That's his second.
Yeah, that's tough. Still in the first period, 4 minutes to go. Johnson's going to have to sit now.
Fisher will come in and Johnson will take a rest with 2 personal fouls. Aranchak comes in for South Plainfield, number 20, and Simmons will take a break.
South Plainfield, only 5 on the bench.
Shot won't go for Franklin. Fisher controls and gives it to Nora. There's Kutza down the left wing. He'll take the shot. Off the iron, but it'll drop.
It'll fall in. What's sort of interesting is that East Brunswick has been breaking at every opportunity, and this is a team that thought that it would have to half court against South Plainfield. Hasn't happened yet.
7-6, Bears take the lead. Jones to Aranchak. Stokes now looks underneath. There's Jones, back door. Won't go. Kutza with the rebound. Tenora quickly, straight down court, pulls up, jumper, yes. 9-6 East Brunswick. 3:20 remaining, first quarter.
All right, you see Gagno on Jones.
Tenora knocks it away. Franklin controls. Looks underneath for Jones. Turnover and a go East Brunswick's way.
And a little bit of disruption caused by the Bear defense. Trying hard to get the ball to Derek Jones.
Tenora gets a pick from Kutza. Looking in the middle for Berliner. There he is. And he's got the basket. 11-6.
Well, East Brunswick on a bit of a run.
Aranchak cross court for Jones. He's able to keep it in play. Gives it to Stokes. Knocked away by Fisher. Great play there.
Steal.
He'll take it to the hoop. And that will make it 13-6. East Brunswick's lead by 7.
I would think that Lebreski wants to call a timeout here, but they're going to let him run.
Aranchak gets it out to Jones outside. Franklin to Stokes. Stokes 3-pointer.
Way off.
Too strong, Berliner.
Yeah, South Plainfield's out of sync. No doubt
Tenora to
about it.
Kutza. Having a little trouble.
Oh,
Can't control the ball, but
that's
Gagno and timeout South Plainfield.
what a different
Coach is
look.
calling for it, and Jones doesn't see it. So they'll keep it going.
That's something. Coach was calling timeout and couldn't get the attention of his guards.
Stokes with the ball. South Plainfield down by 9, 15-6.
Yeah, East Brunswick's had the last 11 points.
Shot by Aranchak, won't go. And here comes Tenora. Bounce pass to Fisher. Looks for Gagno underneath. Maybe should have taken it, Jim.
Well, he had the right opportunity there.
Substitutions. Tresca, 21, comes in, as does number 45, Brian Eber for East Brunswick. Minute 39 remaining, first quarter. Kutza gives it to Gagno. Tenora now looking to set something up.
This is what we thought East Brunswick would be doing.
Tenora looking underneath, looking for some help.
Good movement. Good
Gives it to
movement.
Kutza.
It's a lot of rotation going on.
And they're going to be a block called against Tresca.
Right. Sort of a moving pick. Third team foul for East Brunswick.
1:10 remaining first quarter. Bears still lead by 9, 15-6. Jones quickly. Aranchak from the corner.
Way
over the basket. Franklin saves. Looks underneath for Simons.
Here we go.
Gagno quickly to Tenoro.
Excellent pass.
And it's another bucket. East Brunswick on the turnover. 17-6. Simons gets it down low to Franklin. Franklin doesn't know what to do with it. Gets it back out to English.
Pass is just not there. East Brunswick, tremendous defense. This whole first quarter, they've been playing real well. Harassing.
Jones, he's going to be fouled by Gagno.
Fourth team foul.
I'm sorry, the foul is, yes, it is on Gagno. His first. Bears with 11-point lead. 28 seconds remaining, first quarter. Tenora knocks it out.
Good defense. Keep on saying that, John. Good defense, but that's exactly it. Ball last one out on Jones.
And Fisher and Berliner come back in for East Brunswick. Kutza will take a rest. So it's Tenora, Eber, Gagno, Fisher, and Berliner for the Bears with 23 seconds now left, first quarter. They'll probably play for one. Bohannon yelling out, one shot. Use the clock.
Down to 5 seconds, John.
Tenora underneath. Shot by Eber is good with 3 seconds.
Wow.
And that'll do it. So East Brunswick comes on strong that first quarter to take a 19-6 lead.
Dominating quarter. They finished out 15-0. So
let's go to Bo Henning, see what he has to say.
Got 41-10. Listen to me. This is a dangerous club. When you shoot that many threes, it's a dangerous club to play against. You cannot let up ever on this end of the court, okay? All right, now, you're turning over into your defense, make it almost like our 33. It's okay to pick up three-quarter court. What I don't want is them throwing anything over you deep, okay? All right, now it's our possession coming out. Let's try and go with our our down screen into motion, and keep the high post clear as much as you can. That'll give us the isolation we want down low, okay? All right, let's go.
I think Henning had it right on the nose.
Yeah, a warning. These guys can shoot.
Oh, absolutely. This is a 13-point lead. That can evaporate in a matter of 2 minutes. All you have to do is hit about three or four three-pointers, which this team can do. And you see they've been shooting it, they just have not been connecting yet.
All right, East Brunswick will start the second quarter off with a 19-6 lead. Same team that was in there, Berliner from the line, and he line drives it in.
And still, you got to like the way East Brunswick is approaching this game. They're not letting up. Playing very well.
21-6 Bears. Simmons over to Franklin. Jones, that's the guy they want to have the ball. Scott back in, number 41. There's Jones, looks underneath for Simon, then they're gonna call Tenora for reaching over. Looked pretty good from here, Jim.
Yeah, sure did. Tenora playing as aggressive as he has all game. Called for the foul, that's just his first, but it's the 5th team foul for East Brunswick.
Jones will inbound, and he finds Simons. He'll get the ball back, move it around. Underneath was English, but they can't get the ball there, and East Brunswick steals another. And it works East Brunswick's way, and there's Fisher. And he misses the layup. No foul there. Jones quickly down court, 3-on-1.
Well, I think he got away with some steps on that one.
And English makes the bucket, 21-8.
That ends a run of 17-0 for East Brunswick.
Tenora works his way in, can't make it. Berliner on the follow-up.
Berliner with 8 points on 4 good boards. He's won the battle underneath so far.
South Plainfield slowing it down just a bit. Not many substitutions for the Tigers, so they've got to be a little winded at this point. Franklin has it knocked away partially, can't follow up, and Tenora, another rebound. And he'll set it up. Berliner has Fisher outside to Gagno. Back to Berliner, put it on the floor, still controls it. And South Plainfield will take possession.
It's one of the few misses for East Brunswick down this end of the court.
Simmons looks underneath for Franklin. And Franklin gives it back to him. Bears on top 23-8, 5:30 remaining before halftime. English to Simmons, they look underneath for Franklin. He had no possession of the ball, forced one up.
Good position defense by the Bears underneath.
Tenora to Berliner. And he cross-body blocks Franklin.
Well, they got him that time.
Yeah. And mass substitutions coming in now for East Brunswick, including number 25, Kevin O'Neill.
Johnson and Kutzel also coming in. So Berliner will sit. Gagno did a nice job on Derek Jones.
Back to the action. Ranchak.
Yeah, pass is just not connecting for the Tigers. They're getting opportunities, but they're just disrupted by East Brunswick.
Johnson with the ball. And he'll give it over to O'Neill. Puts it to Fisher. Back to O'Neill. O'Neill forces one in, has it stolen. Stokes quickly down for Jones. Easy layup, won't go. Johnson on the rebound.
He'll take it.
Well, underneath to Kutza. Nice pass to Eber, no foul.
Ball blocked before he could get it off.
Jones, three-pointer off the back of the rim. And O'Neill will bring it up for East Brunswick.
It was a good
and
call.
It's off East Brunswick.
The tap out by Stokes went off Kutza. So we're going back and forth here with not too much scoring, but East Brunswick holding that 23-8 lead.
A lot of action. 4:10 remaining, second quarter. And South Plainfield just out of rhythm. Stokes won't go. Jones follows, gets it back outside. That's where this team is comfortable. Jones drives, looks underneath for Stokes, won't go.
Klutza disrupted that.
And O'Neal will pull up, jumper, yes. 25-8.
I'm waiting for Lebreski to call timeout here and see what he can do.
Stolen by Johnson and given back to Ranchek. Good heads-up play.
Johnson heads into the crowd trying to make that save. All right, Brian Kane, we haven't seen him yet.
Number 5 for South Plainfield. And Berliner will come in and give Eber a rest.
Berliner back in is right. He has played a whale of a game thus far.
English almost throws it away, but Stokes will save and bring it down quickly. Across court to English. Looks underneath to Stokes. And there is Scott. Easy one is missed.
This won't go.
O'Neal for East Brunswick over to Berliner. Quickly in the corner to Fisher. Has it knocked away. We'll start it over. Tenora back in. O'Neal did a good job coming off the bench. And Jimmy O'Neal's out of the game. I wonder if he's hurt.
Well, he's walking around.
Johnson off the glass. 27-8.
Gets his first 2. He's holding his side, John. Perhaps he might have pulled a muscle. We'll have to see.
Well, he's the big gun for these Tigers. They're hanging in here. That's Kane with the ball across to Scott. A lot of movement as Stokes looks for the open man. Almost stolen by Johnson. Simons. No one wants to take it, so English will shoot from outside.
Hit the top of the rim, excuse me, the backboard.
Out of bounds. Gagno comes in. Fisher comes out. A lot of action, Jim.
A lot of action, a lot of scoring from East Brunswick.
Quickly to Johnson. He'll take it. And Barnell's hot. 29-8.
This is really unbelievable. Score was 6-4 South Plainfield. South Plainfield has scored 1 bucket and East Brunswick has managed 25 points. This is a 25-2 run.
Stokes underneath, off the hands of Scott. Treska comes back in, number 21. Relieves Johnson. Berliner to Gagno. A little strong. Treska follow up. Here comes Kutza down the lane. Almost. And East Brunswick's got it back.
A little strong.
Finally, South Plainfield will pull it down.
Oh,
and Tenora right there. Pulls up, jumper a little short. He'll get his own rebound underneath the Kutza. Turnaround, yes.
This is unbelievable.
31-8 with 1:45 left before halftime.
East Brunswick, tremendous defense. A lot of these points are coming off of aggressive defense causing turnovers.
I don't know if this East Brunswick crowd is aware of this defensive job so far. They're awful quiet.
Well, there you go.
Stokes finally hits.
17-point average, first 2 points of the game.
31-10, 1:15. Treska hits.
Everybody's in the act.
Kane is...
Called a kick on Gagno.
Okay. All right, ready to go. English looking for some help. Finally gets it from Kane. Under a minute now remaining. Quickly back to English. He's being pressured. Kane will weave his way through, dumps it off to English. Off the rim, and East Brunswick. Tenora will pull it up.
Yeah,
Everyone was moving.
Good move.
Treska to Kutza.
Might take their time, John.
30 seconds.
Just watch the ball movement, the movement without the ball. You get a good sense of why East Brunswick's playing well.
Down to 14 seconds. They'll hold it for one. As Tenora will give it to Kutza. Everyone moving around. Looking underneath.
Oh.
Berliner gets off into Kutza's hand for the basket.
And that puts an exclamation mark on just the way this half has gone for East Brunswick and how it's gone for South Plainfield. 35-10, John. Probably one of the best played halves for East Brunswick this season. They said, or at least Bo Henning mentioned, that the way they were going to approach South Plainfield was to play a half court. Well, you could throw that out the window because they were going up and down, scoring at will, playing, and a lot of these points were coming off good turnovers from aggressive defense. If I was Bo Henning, I'd just say keep it up.
Yeah, and you know, you look at South Plainfield, they haven't played that bad. Nothing's fallen for them.
Well, they haven't been as selective as Jeff Lebreski would like them to. I think some of their shots have been off, but they're very uncomfortable, and that's what good defense will do for the opponent. They don't seem to be set on their shots. Their flow is all mixed up, and 35-10, that's a 25-point margin that South Plainfield's going to have to make up. I don't know if they can do it.
A lot of points to make up. And so we'll be back with the start of the third quarter in just a moment. Well, welcome back for the start of the third quarter. Our score 35-10, and Jim, you have the scoring highlights.
Yes, I just want to affirm that that's the right score, 35-10. Matt Berliner leading the way with 8 points for East Brunswick, followed by Brian Tenora and Rich Kutza, each with 6 points. Farnell Johnson 4, Jeff Gagno 2, Brian Eber 2, Kevin O'Neill 2, and Frank Treska 2. And with only 10 points for South Plainfield, let's not bother.
Yeah, not much there. South Plainfield with the ball, and Scott starts things off to get a bucket.
All right, I'm sure that Bo Henning wants to put an exclamation point on this game by coming out strong in the third quarter, salting it away.
Kutza underneath, and they're going to call a foul against Simons. I'm sorry, English holding.
Only the second team foul in the game. First of the quarter, of course, for South Plainfield.
East Brunswick will have it under their own basket. Fisher back to Tenora. Kutza from outside. Off the rim, English controls, and now Jones, who sat out the last couple minutes of the second quarter, is back in. Stokes tries to dish it off.
Good save. Whoops.
And he's out of bounds.
Right. Didn't step in time. All right, East Brunswick definitely does not want to be caught lazy here. They're going to have to play with the same intensity that caused the defensive turnovers.
And ball goes over to South Plainfield.
John, interesting, we observed that South Plainfield came out with 30 seconds left on the warm-up clock, did not even take a shot before the beginning of the second half. I think Jeff Lebreski had quite a bit to say to his team at halftime. Here's a steal.
And they're going to say Barnell was out. We'll go over to South Plainfield. The Tigers came in with a 13-7 record, East Brunswick 12-9, and we discussed the importance of this game for both teams. And they're going to call Johnson for reaching in.
Well, Farnell just has that knack for reaching out. Of course, officials are looking for it, so he picks up his third foul.
35-12 is our score. Oh, it looked like a backcourt, but they didn't call it.
Official didn't call it.
Anyway, English drives the baseline and gets the bucket. Tenora bring it up. Will bring it up. Out to Fisher, three-pointer. Too far. Johnson rebound, and he's fouled. Foul against Stokes. Second for South Plainfield this quarter.
That's a shooting foul, so Varnell will go to the line. Shooting just 44%.
Well, let's see if he can improve on that.
Sort of interesting, his field goal percentage is 45%.
And he makes the first. 36-14, he'll get another. Won't go this time. Stokes will bring it up for the Tigers.
He's their leading scorer with a 17-point average, but
he's been cold tonight.
He's had but 2 points.
Keeps it alive, throws it across court for English and off English's hand.
And that's the defensive play by Brian Tenora, causing the ball to be tipped off English. Temptation is for East Brunswick to slow it down because they have this 21-point lead, John, but what really brought them success in the first half was the quick turnaround off the transition.
Well, the game has slowed considerably. East Brunswick moving the ball well inside. Berliner gets it back out to Tenora. And a foul is going to be called here against Berliner. His second.
A couple of useless fouls by the Bears beginning of this quarter. Served no purpose.
Stokes try to get something going for South Plainfield. They're down 36-14. Jones quickly to Ranchak. He stepped on the line. It'll go over East Brunswick's way.
Good play by Berliner, causing Ranchak to have to go around him, and they stepped on the line.
Kutza quickly down to Johnson. 3 on 2. Johnson, nice move right to the basket.
Wow. That's a college move.
38-14, East Brunswick. Jones pulls it back out.
He has just 1 point, John. So both of the big guns, Stokes and Jones, have been kept quiet.
Ranchak turns it over again.
Ill-advised shot.
Berliner gets caught. And the layup missed by Stokes. He has it back and hits a three-pointer.
Well.
So a mental lapse by Matt Berliner gives South Plainfield 3 points. But there's Fisher by himself. Short jumper, and he's fouled by Franklin.
After the shot, during the shot. No, they're going to call that on, I think they're going to call that on Fisher. No,
on Berliner. I didn't even see it
Lord.
underneath. They got him for pushing. That's what we've been told.
So Matt picks up his third foul, and he's a little out of control right now. Henning is sitting him down, talking to him.
And Kane in the game for South Plainfield has the ball. East Brunswick by 21, 38-17.
Whoa.
And Kutza
Can't believe there wasn't a foul on that
English.
Oh.
Fisher. And Kutza's hit by Franklin.
Kutza just rammed Jones. And Lebreski is hot. Can't say I don't blame him.
Yeah, that was missed all the way around. I mean,
Well, they haven't, all right, they've posted the foul. Franklin picks up his first.
and Kutza goes to the line. 4:13 remaining, third quarter. East Brunswick on top, 38-17. And Rich misses the first.
East Brunswick 2 for 6 from the line. At this point, they're not necessary.
But if you're Bo Henning, that concerns you.
Oh, yes.
This is the
two.
second.
All right, so that's 2 for 6.
Fisher, he's out of bounds. East Brunswick continuing to press South Plainfield. English gets it to Jones. And Jones has really not put the ball up much this second half, Jim.
Well, he's been harassed by a variety of players. Started with Johnson, then Gagne was on him. O'Neal had a turn, Treska had a turn.
English seems to be the hot one thus far. 38-19. Tenora out to Kutza. Brian will put it up. Yes.
And Brian Tenora has had a steady hand tonight. He hasn't shot much, but when he has, he's put it in. He's got 8 points now.
40-19. East Brunswick by 21 again. Kane looks for Jones. Sets. Won't go. Rebound Tenora. And East Brunswick quickly. 3-on-2.
Oh, great
Kutza
pass.
underneath.
Great
pass by Tenora. 42-19. Jones, three-pointer off the rim. Eber, who's in the game, comes up with the rebound. Tenora quickly to Johnson.
Oh, strong move.
Easy basket.
Warnell was looking for the ball. He knew he had an opening, and he just took it right in. And they're back up to their 25-point lead, John.
44-19 with 2:40 remaining third quarter. Timeout, South Plainfield.
Finally get a timeout for South Plainfield. Lebreski. South Plainfield was starting to do a few things right, but then all of a sudden East Brunswick got back into its flow, and you saw the result.
Let's listen to Coach Henning.
Scored on you. If you would just had your hand, they even threw it to the inside, right where you were. Okay. But if you can't do it anymore, what's it tell you? Tired. Time to come out. All right. It's time to come out. Okay. All right. On the offensive end now. On the offensive end, I want to see it staying off the floor a little bit more, and you're using your screens a little bit more intelligently. Okay. Help your teammates get shots. Okay. Don't put it on the floor too easily. They're getting a little fatigued again. If any of you get fatigued, you got to let me know and get a fresh body in, and we'll keep running at them. We're picking up 34, but the ball's got to stay in front of you. Can't be deep. All right? Come on. Yeah, you're three-man.
Jimmy, I think we are starting to see some fatigue on South Plainfield's part.
We
and
are.
some frustration, obviously.
Absolutely, and you heard Henning say, let's keep on running at them. Again, that was not their strategy at the beginning of this game, but Henning picked it up that he saw that he could run on this team, and they're exploiting it to the max.
Kane being pressured by Johnson. He gets it to English. 44-19 is our score. The Bears with a big lead. Kane gives it to English. Takes the shot, won't go. Eber with the rebound. East Brunswick on the move. Gagne, who's in, is by himself. Won't go, keeps it alive. Tenora follows up. It's been all East Brunswick all night. And turnover again for the Tigers. Szymanski is in for East Brunswick, number 50. It's Szymanski, Gagne, Johnson, Tenora, and Eber. And Jimmy, what a difference from when we first saw this team in the beginning of the year.
Oh, they've matured immensely. We saw probably the culmination of that maturity in a win against St. Joseph.
Good block by Simons.
Again, that Bridgewater game notwithstanding, this has been a different East Brunswick club, and this is the way Bo Henning wants his club to be playing as he's going into the GMC tournament and the state tournament.
Yep, right at the right time, no doubt about it. Tenora knocks it away. Szymanski to Johnson. Barnell, a little spin move, jump shot, rolls in.
When he gets on a roll, he is something to behold.
48-19.
11 points. Now he's the leading scorer for East Brunswick.
And Szymanski blocks Franklin in your face.
I think it's important to mention, as Henning said, these are fresh bodies that you're seeing for East Brunswick. Take a look at the faces in here.
Treska comes in, number 21.
Tenora is the only starter.
Simons gets it out to Aranchak.
South Plainfield simply cannot match the Bears.
Stolen by Gagne. He's got a free lane to the basket.
And that steal was pure hustle that South Plainfield could not match.
50-19 with 50 seconds remaining, third quarter. And who would have thunk it? Franklin, little juke move, won't go. Ball's on the floor. Aranchak shuffles it to Scott. In and out. Scott with his own rebound. Finally makes it.
Finally makes it.
He earned that one. 20 seconds remaining.
All right.
Tenora takes his time.
They're going to go for one. Looks like anyway.
50-21's our score. Gagno, 10 seconds now to Tenora. Eber, back to Tenora. Inside to Szymanski. He takes the little move inside, rolls, won't go, and that'll do it.
Thought he got away with a walk there.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, East Brunswick now with the 29-point margin, so they've been able to extend that lead in the third quarter. Thought that the Tigers might come back, but just didn't happen. While we have a moment, John, I just wanted to say something about the junior varsity team for East Brunswick. You know, the team coached by Keith Lane is 18-3.
Wow.
And they are going to be second seeded in the junior varsity boys tournament, which is going to be ongoing. Starting off, I believe, let's see, first game's going to be starting tomorrow night. There are going to be some preliminary rounds. A lot of the teams are involved. The Bears are seeded second and will take on the winner of Spotswood and South Brunswick, and that game will be on the 22nd. And it's going to be 4:30 right here at East Brunswick. So good opportunity to watch this team as it tries to move through a rather tough bracket. We'll be facing quality teams such as Bishop R. Top-seeded St. Joseph's, of course, will be in that tournament. Should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, good team, 18-3, and they're going to be the stars of the future here at East Brunswick. So if you have an opportunity, come on out and watch these young men. As we start the fourth and final quarter, the last 8 minutes, East Brunswick by 29 and another turnover as O'Neill, who's in. Gagno pulls up off the rim. English to Simons. Stokes. And a foul is going to be called against Tresca, I believe.
Yes, it is. Frank Tresca. Can't overstate the fact that what we're seeing here is a fresh team for East Brunswick and a fatigued team for South Plainfield. And all the turnovers that are occurring are mostly because of East Brunswick being able to out-hustle the Tigers.
Well, we mentioned at the start of the game there was not many in numbers on the bench. And in fact, the coach from South Plainfield told us he was only really going to play 7 players tonight. Stokes hits the first, misses the second. And our score is 50-22 as O'Neill quickly gets it down to Gagno. Tresca now looks inside for Szymanski. Bad pass as it goes to English.
Whoa.
Stokes bouncing that ball around his ears, but no call. Simons, first long shot of the night for him. Stokes, nice follow-up.
All right, with Berliner out of there, Stokes is getting a little bit more room to maneuver. It's probably one of the reasons why he's been able to score. And we're going to see Eric Phillips.
Tresca, shot off the rim. Rebound, Aranchak. Knocked away by Szymanski. And Eric Phillips, 32, comes in. First time to see him tonight. Gagno will take a rest.
Another replacement for South Plainfield is Sean O'Keefe, who's 6'4", tallest player on the court for South Plainfield.
That's O'Keefe there with the ball. Turns, spins, in and out. And that's the way it's been all night for South Plainfield as Eric Phillips takes control of the ball. O'Neill walks straight down the center. Pauses. And gets it to Eber. O'Neill will set things up again.
And they're deliberate, and they should be.
Looking inside, knocked away by O'Keefe. Clock ticking, 6 minutes remaining in the game. East Brunswick on top, 50-24. Stokes, three-pointer, short. Eber with the rebound. O'Neill quickly to Szymanski. Gets it back.
Nice board.
and goes after it for the bucket.
Good, aggressive rebounding.
52-24. Timeout, South Plainfield.
Well, Nebraska calls an interesting timeout here. This game is well out of hand, 52-24. Be interested to see what Bo Henning has to say.
Okay. All right, listen to me. They're partially those turnovers are Kevin O's fault, but partially it's your fault. You're not setting any solid screens to get open. You're not stepping out strong to the ball. Okay? The idea behind motion is to help your teammates get shots. And if all 5 guys do that, then your shot will show up too. Okay? All right. Use the rule of keeping it off the floor, and that's going to force you to set some screens. That's not to say you can't use your dribble. You can, but let's make sure we save it for when we do need it. Now, we've played a hell of a game defensively. 24 points for them with 5:37. That's the end I want to keep working the hardest at, okay? Don't let them get a run on us. Let's go. Come on.
Good observation.
Yeah.
Keep the defensive intensity. Keep on playing.
And Jimmy, if you're a coach scouting East Brunswick, you've got to be a little worried about this team.
Absolutely. They are growing in confidence. That's the only way to describe the way this team is playing.
Aranchak makes it 52-26. Treska looks underneath for Phillips. Phillips back out to Szymanski.
Nice feed inside by Phillips.
And a foul on O'Keefe, I believe.
And Szymanski should go to the line.
Now they're gonna call it on Aranchak.
A lot of faces, new faces in here.
And are gaining valuable playing time. And now for East Brunswick, number 43 is Steve Levy. So it's Treska, Levy, Szymanski, Eber, and Phillips. With 5 minutes remaining in the game. Kane being pressured. Looks for Aranchak. Throws one up. Rebound Treska. Levy now in control.
Well, Jones has long since left the game. And with his warm-up jacket, I have to think he's a little...
Phillips won't go.
Physical disability. He was holding his side before.
Well, no use further risking injury with the score the way it is. And tournament time coming up. East Brunswick's in the lead, 53-26.
Tapped away.
English drives. Nice move to the basket to make it 53-28.
He's been the leading scorer. He's got 11 points for South Plainfield.
Levy across to Phillips. Eric strongly, too strong.
Yep.
Ball still alive.
Thought they might call a backcourt on that.
Good save by Levy to Szymanski, and East Brunswick keeps control. Phillips again, no foul, but Treska's right there.
Picks up the second buck. And South Plainfield calls timeout.
And that's their third, and I think that's it for them. With 3:39 remaining.
Kind of wondering why they would use these timeouts.
Jimmy, we've talked about the tournament before.
Right.
And maybe it'd be helpful at this point in the season to talk about now the GMC and the state tournament. When do they start? How do they work?
They're going to be starting this week. The seating committee, as we mentioned up on top, will be meeting tomorrow night, and we'll pick the top 16 teams, not solely based on record. You look at strength of schedule. There may be a couple teams on the bubble. We're not going to venture who, but as we've mentioned, a team like two teams playing tonight, like South Plainfield and East Brunswick, certainly could improve or enhance their chances for a better seed, thus avoiding one of those tough top-seeded teams at the beginning, and that allows them to penetrate a little bit more into the tournament. So you're going to have a round of first-round games, and then, as always, they usually have the quarterfinals on a Sunday all day at Middlesex County College,
Right.
which is a nice event to see,
Yeah.
by the way. Very entertaining. And then the semifinals will be at the RAC, and the finals will also be at the RAC.
Jimmy, there's been an argument made, and the reason we're talking about this, the game is way out of hand. East Brunswick on top 55-28 with 3:30 left in the game. But a lot of critics have come out to say, you know, that running the tournament simultaneously is a disadvantage because these teams are playing so frequently, particularly at the end of a long season.
Yeah. Well, simultaneously might not be the right word, John. I think it's been well established that the GMC runs its tournament, and then at the conclusion of that game, the tournament ends on a Saturday, and then that Monday is when they start the state play. So there's no conflict there. It is possible that teams may have some regularly scheduled games involved there, but they usually make ups, and they have them at their own discretion to play.
Still remains a long season for these young men, many of whom have come off football and soccer seasons. Tresca takes a rest. And a host of faces now in for East Brunswick. We've been trying to keep you up. Brendan Hockman, number 22, is in. Number 15, Kevin Wright. We mentioned that Levy is in with Phillips. That's Hockman with the ball. Gets it to Levy. Right. Samansky, nice turnaround. Won't fall though. Kane saves it and controls it for the Tigers with 2:35 remaining in the game. Kane, three-pointer. Samansky.
Oh. All right, they're slowing it down here.
Levy takes the shot.
Good.
Hits.
Good.
57-28. And Jim, it's possible this team won't score 9 points a quarter.
It's very, very possible. This has been a dismal effort for South Plainfield, to say the least. We didn't think so. We thought they were two evenly matched teams.
That's right.
But credit the East Brunswick Bear team for coming out and play the type of game that Bo Henning so very much wants them to play. And that's tough defense, good on the transition, and hitting the boards hard.
Levy, Hockman, he took a step. So with 1:46 left, the ball will go over to the Tigers of South Plainfield. Their record will be 13-8. With this loss, they'll finish out the regular season. East Brunswick will improve to 13-9. And it'll be interesting to see where they come out in the seeding in the GMC. Venture a guess, Jim?
I'd say they're going to get an 8 out of this. I mean, you have to give them serious consideration for 8. Thought maybe 9 would be a good way to go. As it is, they're probably stashed at about maybe 10 at this point with the record. But with that nice win over St. Joseph's, that's going to open up a couple of eyes on some of the seating committee people. A couple of interesting possibilities. We mentioned already St. Joe's.
Hockman is fouled.
Perth Amboy, Piscataway, Bishop Bar, teams that East Brunswick has faced. Any other teams come to your mind as possibilities, quality teams? Team from close by?
South River sounds like they could be in the thick of things.
And if they're in a 7 or an 8 seed and East Brunswick is in an 8 or a 9, it would be very possible those two teams meet.
Well, and we should point out to the fans listening that unlike football and basketball, they're all thrown in kind of the same pot. And so group size or school size doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's the uniqueness of this tournament.
And that's why South River could meet up with an East Brunswick. And believe me, our partner Phil isn't here tonight, but I'm sure he would have something to say about that, being from South River. Clock down to 1 minute. And nothing has gone right for South Plainfield tonight. They trail by 30, 58-28. So every time we think we're going to have a close one, it tends to be a blowout.
Looking for Coach Bo Henning. He's at the far end of the bench, next to the trainers.
Well, he's done his job tonight, and he's done it well. That's out and gone.
Not quite sure where that pass was intended to.
Kind of been typical of the entire night.
And I think the Tigers will be happy to make a quick exit out of East Brunswick and head up Route 18.
Right, and a foul's called underneath. I think they're going to call on Szymanski.
Yeah, for backing in.
So our regular season comes to an end here on Channel 8, and we want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have been with us through some exciting basketball, both girls and boys. It's been a great pleasure of ours to bring you the action. We're hoping that we'll be able to come to you with some tournament play as both teams progress through the state and GMC tournament. And we suggest that you watch your monitor on Channel 8 to see when those games might be telecast.
I don't think there's any question that the girls should go quite far in either the GMCs and the states.
Good shot by Ranchak there. Makes it 60-30 with 15 seconds. That would be a nice way to end it. Levy, short, 5 seconds.
He's going to throw it up.
And that'll do it. Our final from East Brunswick High School is the Bears 60, the Tigers of South Plainfield 30.
And a good exclamation point for Bo Henning. Nice round numbers to show, and I think that's indicative of the way the two teams played tonight, doubling the score on a quality South Plainfield team. And East Brunswick now shooting well, playing good defense, and I have to tell you another thing, we talked about the tournaments. Good defense is what wins tournament championships. You know, you get on a hot streak and that sort of thing and with the shooting, but if you play good defense, that's going to create opportunities, and East Brunswick is doing well right now.
Well, and it's tournament time as East Brunswick finishes their regular season. And a lot of anticipation, particularly over these last 3 or 4 weeks, about this East Brunswick team.
Oh yeah, they're really going to excite a lot of people. I'd be interested to see who their first round opponent's going to be, because I think it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Again, our final from the high school here at East Brunswick, the Bears 60, South Plainfield 30. For everyone associated with Channel 8, it's been a great season. We're glad you joined us. Again, watch your monitor. We should be bringing you some of the tournament playoff games. And hopefully both teams, both the girls and the boys, will be there. So for Jim Allinder, I'm John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us.